welcome back to my channel, the MBA Guinea Pig. My name is Urvashi Jain and I make videos on everything MBA, how I prepared for CAT, my time at MDI Gurgaon and things I've been doing after passing out. So if you like these kinds of topics, please do like, share and subscribe because your support is what keeps me motivated to make more and more videos. Now, I want to share with you today some tips and tricks which I used for the VARC section and how did I cross the 90 percentile mark. I actually went around to people who scored 99 above percentile in their VARC section in CAT 2019 and asked for their tips and tricks for this section. So therefore, I divide the section into two parts. One is what you should do while you're preparing for CAT and the second what you should do towards VARC while you're attempting the paper. So quickly, I was very comfortable with communicational English, yet when I started to give my mocks during my CAT prep, I realized that being good at English does not mean that I will do well at CAT VARC, and VARC is also very much a section which you can practice and build towards. And if you are somebody who's not comfortable with English, rest assured that the tips I'm going to share with you are actually going to help you do well in the exam, even though अगर आप रोजमर्रा में इंग्लिश में बात नहीं करते हो. So the very first thing that I started doing for CAT VARC was that I identified VA, that is your verbal ability, and RC, that is your reading comprehension, are two different kinds of skill sets and therefore I need to prepare for them separately. So what I did for my reading comprehensions was, one, I was giving a lot of mock tests and I always ensured that whatever mock test that I give, even if it's a reading comprehension, I know the passage would not come again in my examination. I would still actually go through the mock analysis and just make sure that I understood exactly what is the thought process behind getting a particular answer. The second thing that I did was I realized that to do well in your reading comprehension, it's extremely important that you have good reading speed, and you should ideally not spend more than 8 to 9 minutes on one reading comprehension, and 8 to 9 minutes when you know you've understood this passage and you will be able to attempt the questions which follow it. If it's a passage from the kind of topic or with the kind of vague language which you just don't get, you should ideally decide that within the first minute of setting your eyes on that passage. Therefore, I ensured that I read the newspapers every single day, and I actually used to set up a timer when I read the editorial sections. I never left any kind of section in the newspaper. So I started reading the newspaper in July beginning, and then by the time it was August end, I was reading not just the editorial sections but the actual news, end-to-end newspaper every single day for 1 hour in the morning. This ensured that I was really doing well in terms of my reading speed, in terms of my vocabulary, and at the same time building up my general knowledge for my interviews to come. This one single approach really pushed up my reading comprehension scores. And the third thing which I did was I actually gave a lot of sectional tests for reading comprehension. So I used to give sectional tests specifically for RCs, and I used to make it a point that if there are 4 RCs in that sectional test, I have to minimum attempt at least 3 of them, and I would want to try my techniques around this. So the one advice that I would give you is you definitely need some mock series to follow. This video particularly is sponsored by Unacademy. Unacademy is an online coaching platform. So what you can do is you visit their app, and on the Unacademy app you go for the CAT prep option. Over there you have so many illustrious faculties taking up CAT coaching, and they have different varied batches. So you have weekend batches, you have weekday batches, and since it's the corona season and many of you haven't been stepping out, so it's an online coaching, it will be very convenient. So what you do is you enroll into their program. They also have mock test series, they have doubt solving sessions, they have live doubt solving sessions. So all of these things I feel would really help you. Use the code UJMBA for a 10% discount on any of your Unacademy subscriptions, but definitely do check out the Unacademy app. With that, let's move on. So yes, I definitely followed a lot of mock tests for my RC preparation, but what did I do for VA? Now again, for VA is the section where even if you're completely new to English, you can do well, because VA is practically rules, rules of how to speak or write the English language. Yes, there are some questions like, inferences and logic and summary, and all of those questions probably might not come to you very naturally, but trust me, major part of the verbal ability section can be practiced and built upon. Trust me, I was extremely poor at grammar, but I just, I kept practicing with my mock tests and I kept analyzing the answers, and that really helped to push up my score in the VA section. Again, I started this right from July beginning, and I did it all the way up till CAT. So that also pushed up my VA scores. I will now come to some things which you should be doing during your mock test so that you do them well in your CAT attempt as well. So the first tip that I would give you is, and this is one tip which probably everybody shared with me whom I reached out to, was that which RC passages are you choosing? Now that's a technique in itself. So one, in any passage that you encounter, read the first paragraph, read the last paragraph, and just try to gauge, are you understanding anything at all in this passage? If you do not feel like the topic is familiar, go through the questions, and do you feel like the questions are straightforward? If you still don't feel so, move on to the next passage and ensure that you do it within the first 1 or a minute and a half itself, so that at least you know the questions that you're not going to attempt. So therefore, please ensure that you pick up the right passages. There are two approaches which people use. Some people like to read the questions first and then the passage. Some people like to read the passage first and then the questions. I actually experimented with both the approaches during my mocks, and mocks is one place where you should totally experiment. Just don't worry about losing the marks during mocks. Just make these experiments. So for me, I figured that it helps me better when I read the passage first and then I go over the questions. The second thing that you have to do is, there are times when you're left with time in the paper. So you've completed your RCs which you've recognized, you completed your VA, come back to the RCs which you've skipped, just read through it quickly. There might be some questions which are very direct. So do attempt, I wouldn't say unnecessarily attempt, but see if there are any questions which are very direct from the passage. So it might just be कि सेट में 4 questions है पर एक बहुत direct है, बाकी सब कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, तो वो direct question में तुम्हारे marks आ सकते हैं. Never ever leave out the type in questions because they do not carry any negative marking. So make sure that you are attempting all the type in questions. Now, some people, what they do is they go to the VRC section, they will solve all the RCs and then they will come to the VA section. Whereas some people always start with VA and then they will come to the RCs. Again, this is something which you have to test out during your mock test. So definitely कोशिश करो कि तुम थोड़ा सा shuffle up करते रहो and then तुमको paper में पता हो that do you want to finish all of the RCs first and then move to VA or do you want to like switch back and forth. But इस सब में ये मत भूल जाना कि कौन से questions हमने attempt कर लिए और कौन से नहीं किए, even though ऊपर color coding में दिखता है which questions are still left unattempted, but do make sure कि इस चीज पे तुम्हारा ध्यान है. Now the last thing that I would say is, this is one tip which my sister shared with me. She was like, when I used to read the newspaper, it was like, if it's a topic on say geography, or if it's a topic on politics, that's not something I prefer to read, or if it's something philosophical, I would usually skip it. And what ended up happening is, in her CAT attempt, 2 out of the 4 RCs were on philosophy and 1 was on politics, which automatically meant that she could not understand much of the 2 RCs. So this is something which a lot of people do. They when they're practicing, they leave out certain topics which they don't really find interesting. But तुमको यहाँ पे novel नहीं पढ़नी है, तुमको एक exam के लिए prepare करना है. So you have to cover all bases, read all sorts of topics from different kinds of newspapers. I personally followed the Mint and I followed the Hindu and the Times of India or the Economic Times. So these were the 3 newspapers that I was referring to. You might choose some online resource for reading articles, but please do. Now, one last thing which I would share with you is, please do solve the book Norman Lewis, Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. I cannot stress enough on this. This is this is one book which I solved alongside my mock series, because Norman Lewis not just covers vocabulary, it covers grammar rules, and the way they have designed all the exercises in the book It's just so easy to follow. This was a book referred to me by my coaching. So therefore I would say that it's not like if you're following a coaching, that's enough. Just ensure you read the newspapers, you're following Norman Lewis, and as much material as you can get your hands on, which you have the time to solve. Don't like get overwhelmed, but do plan out your VARC section as well. Do not take it for granted. Do not get scared by it. Please make a good effort to score well in the VARC section. With that, I'm done with my points. Do leave in the comments कि तुमने और कोई चीजें figure out करी हैं क्या, which really helped you with the VARC section, or any online resources which other people can use. Please do tag them in the comments. Please keep dropping comments कि मैं और किन चीजों पे वीडियो बनाऊं. With that, bye bye.